A very warm welcome to yet another brand new episode of Colours of India, your weekly cultural diary on Rajya Sabha TV. I am Teena Jha, bringing before you some of the best cultural performances in the city in the week gone by. But before that, a quick look at the highlights of today's episode. First up this week, a celebration of the spirit of tribal culture, craft and cuisine. Next, an exhibition of the late K.G. Subramanian's works. And finally, celebration of the Silver Jubilee of India-ASEAN Partnership at the Delhi International Arts Festival. The Ministry of Tribal Affairs organised an Adi Mahotsav in the national capital recently. The aim being to promote the unique and diverse tribal culture of India. The fortnight-long festival brought together tribal communities from every nook and corner of the country. More than 750 artisans took part in the Mahotsav, displaying artifacts, jewellery, clothes and food items. We bring you highlights from the cultural extravaganza. Adi Mahotsav is a platform where different tribal cultures of India merge. About 200 stalls from different states have been set up to represent tribal families and their culture. This 15-day fest, organised by the Tribal Affairs Ministry at 4 different locations in Delhi, attempts to inform and educate people about India's vast tribal heritage.
These tribals, they are the original inhabitants of this country, of this world even. They came first on this earth. We are their descendants. So they are always ahead of us.
These colourful stalls showcase a variety of tribal handicrafts. Silk fabric, hand-woven cotton, jewellery and even paintings seem to be a hit with the visitors. The display cum sale not only promotes the simple ways of Adivasi life but also boosts their economy.
और नीमच के पास में हमारा गांव है अमावली महल। यहाँ आदिवासी महिलाएं काम करती हैं और मैं 23 साल हो गए मुझे काम करते करते हैं। पिछड़े वर्ग की महिलाओं को ही सिखाती हूँ, फ्री सिखाती हूँ। सारा हैंडमेड है, बीड्स का काम है पूरा और सुई धागे का है। इसमें कोई तीसरी चीज़ होती नहीं है, सुई धागा। और पहले पेपर पे आपको जो भी मर्जी डिज़ाइन बना लो, पक्षी की बना लो, घर की बना लो या इंसान बना लो, नाम बना लो, कुछ भी कर लो। और पेपर पे बना लो, पेपर पे से देख देख के आपको मोती में बनाना होता है।
The Odisha stall is all about organic products. The women from Ananya self-help group are selling wild honey from the forests. They pride themselves in using traditional methods to prepare organic food.
Basically, हमारा स्टॉल में हम भर्मी कंपोस्ट लाए हैं और फॉरेस्ट वाइल्ड हनी हम लाए हैं। ख़ास तौर पे भर्मी कंपोस्ट हमारी वहाँ की महिलाएं करती हैं, जो कि सेल्फ हेल्प के ग्रुप के द्वारा से ये किया गया है। जो मधु हनी जो निकालते हैं उसका छत्ता काट दिया जाता है, पर हम उन्हें सिखाते हैं कि किस तरह से छत्ता को काटना है, जिस वजह से हम प्रकृति के साथ भी जुड़े और मधु हमें हमेशा मिलते रहे।
Everyone who was interested in bamboo products flocked to the Sikkim stall. Home decor and everyday use items cut out from bamboo lured the visitors. The intriguing artwork and design made them even more fascinating.
रिमोट एरिया के जो है जो कल्चर है, क्योंकि कल्चर जो है सिटी में जो है वो लुप्त हो गया है, बंद हो गया है। वो अभी कल्चर जो हमारे रिमोट एरियाज में है, उस रिमोट एरिया के कल्चर को जो है यहाँ तक दर्शाना चाहिए, ताकि पूरा देश के लोग जो हैं यहाँ इस कल्चर को देखें और वो देखें कि हमारे भारत के लोग किन किन गाँव में बसे हैं, उनका कल्चर क्या है।
The fortnight-long festival also exhibits cultural performances. Over 350 artists from all over the country have gotten together for this mega tribal show. Here's Manipuri folk dance Lai Hareoba being performed. dance mirrors the ancient culture of the Meitei people. The performance shows men and women offering prayers to the deities and asking for peace and prosperity of their land. The tribals from Sikkim leave the audience spellbound with their unique performance. This religious dance is traditionally performed to dispel evil spirits.
This is a great way to promote, tribal culture, their food, their indigenous products, music, dance. So I think this is a great platform for tribal communities from different parts of India to expose their talent.
जो ट्राइबल्स में लोग रहते हैं उनके रहन सहन का, उनके क्राफ्ट का, उनका जो ड्रेसेस है और उनका जो मतलब जैसे जो भी वो अपने मतलब लाइफ लिविंग के लिए जो भी अर्न करते हैं, बनाते हैं, वो सब चीज़ें यहाँ लाके हमको दिखाते हैं, हमें पता लगा कि क्या-क्या वो लोग करते हैं.
Adi Mahotsav would have been incomplete without a taste of tribal cuisine. To satisfy the foodies, more than 25 mouth-watering cuisines are on display. Visitors enjoy the food and soak in the tribal culture, making the festival a big hit and an unforgettable experience. From Bastar to Manipur, the Adi Mahotsav was a melting pot for many tribes. Such festivals not only pave a path of development for the tribal communities, they also enable ways through which objects and artifacts made by them reach people of different areas. The Mahotsav was indeed a cherishable experience for the people of Delhi. Hope you too enjoyed this segment. On that note, we'll slip into a very short break here. More interesting stories lined up on the other side. Do stay with us. On the other side, art with a political touch. Welcome back after the break. Art Heritage, in collaboration with the Seagull Foundation for Arts, presented an impressive show of late artist K.G. Subramanian's political works. Now, Subramanian was honoured with the Padma Vibhushan in 2012, much before he passed away in 2016. We get you some of his political works. The exhibition, Seeking Poetry of the Real, showcases artist K.G. Subramanian's deep understanding of Indian politics. The artworks portray the complex reality of modern India.
K.G. Subramanian is very, very special to art heritage. When he was alive, right from the 70s onwards, he has only been showing his work here in art heritage. He was an artist who not only did acrylic or oil paint on canvas, he exploited and he explored different mediums like terracotta. He also explored something, he made toys in clay, he made terracotta tablets. Actually, the series which we are showing is called Anatomy Lesson. And the anatomy is how the human body is chopped up and into different pieces and displayed. And this he had already done a series earlier in 1971, which is about Bangladesh, about the Bangladesh war. And that kind of anatomies of people were also displayed over there.
The legendary K.G. Subramanian was honored with Padma Vibhushan in 2012 for his exceptional contribution to the art world. The exhibition pays tribute to the artist who passed away last year by bringing together some of his key works post-1969.
It was from the 60s onwards where, you know, the whole kind of fervor of nationalism had died down. We were now settling down to looking at all the problems in our own country, and they were surfacing in different pockets here and there. And already from that time onwards, he registers these turbulences, these changes which are happening in society, and already as a kind of a warning through his art, he is trying to make us see this is how we are becoming. This is very, very important for us to understand that he was always there. So he also brings us to the point, does the artist have some kind of, does he have to pay back to society? Does he have to be a beacon? Does he have to be somebody who is very close, or does he only create his own world?
मुझे के.जी. सुब्रमण्यम का काम बहुत ही अच्छा लगा. उसमें जो है अबोधपन है, मतलब इनोसेंस, इनके काम में जो है ईमानदारी है, उनकी अपनी भावना है, जो एकदम सहज प्रक्रिया है, जिसको देख के एक आम आदमी भी अपने आप को रिलेटेड कर पाता है. ब्लैक एंड वाइट काम है, चारकोल, एक्रेलिक, और उसमें तो लाइट एंड शेड एक जीवन की तरह है. जैसे कि दिन रात है, उसी तरह हमारे जीवन में दुख सुख है. तो कला जो है हमारे अंदर की चीज़ है, हमारे अंदर जो बीतता है उसको इन्होंने बड़े ही खूबसूरत ढंग से कैनवास पे उतारा है.
Subramanian was a man far ahead of his times. His paintings capture an artist's response to a turbulent world. Paintings showing transformation of people from active players to mute spectators to the violence around them. Expresses the artist's post-modern taste. The exhibition, in its attempt to rediscover the late artist through his paintings, paid a rich tribute to him. This exhibition clearly shows how the great modernist responded to what was happening around him through his work of art. With that, we'll slip into another quick break. Still more to come on the program. Don't go anywhere. When we return, we get you glimpses from the Delhi International Arts Festival. Welcome back once again. Puppetry is an ancient form of storytelling and theatre that dates back to 5th century BC in ancient Greece. In India too, this age-old tradition has survived over the centuries and continues to be popular even today. But ever wondered what Indonesian and Malaysian puppets look like? Find out in our next story. The 11th edition of the Delhi International Arts Festival put together a puppet dance festival. The two participating countries, Indonesia and Malaysia, showcased some endearing puppets. Indonesia's Geet Sutaria and his troupe performed Wayang Lima, a form of puppetry that hails from Bali. The cut-out flat figures come alive on stage as they narrate Bhima Swarga, a beautiful story from the Indian epic Mahabharata.
Yes, I'm sorry now. But I want to talk about you. Nanang, very, very proud of India. Very proud India. Because when Nanang arrived in India, Nanang have the good feeling. Nanang back to my home.
In Indonesia, puppet performance started from the 11th century when the king of East Java, Dharmawangsa Teguh Hanantawikrama, as a project to translate all of the Sanskrit scripture to all of Japanese language, include Ramayana and Mahabharata. And after that time, from the 11th century, Ramayana and Mahabharata become very famous in Indonesia. And until today, we still preserve Ramayana and Mahabharata as a tool of story of wayang or puppet performance. Not just in Bali, but also in Java, Sumatra, and also in the other island in Indonesia.
Wait, what happened with you? And what did you do? I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. I met a friend, I have appeared many men. I have appeared many men.
The Wayang Lema is usually performed during the day and is considered a sacred tradition in Bali. Wayang Lema is different from Wayang Dalang, which is a form of shadow puppetry. An enthusiastic audience seemed to enjoy every bit of the performance as the sarcastic conversations between characters amused everyone. The audience also loved the song and dance performance that accompanies the puppetry show.
This performance is very classical performance. We use also a classical singing, and also we use also classical dance. And the classical singing of this performance, it is original singing come from the Holy Scripture Mahabharata in Indonesia. And the metrum, do you know metrum? Chanda in Hindi. The chanda of the Ramayana or Mahabharata we use in this performance, it is original one from the Vedic chanda.
The Malaysian group Berinjin Sakti showcased some quirky shadow figures. This shadow puppet play also had an Indian connect. It was inspired by the Indian epic Ramayana that narrates the story of Devi Sita and how she was kidnapped by the Lankan king Ravan. The delightful show was a treat for puppet lovers in Delhi. Delhiites also got a glimpse of how puppetry is performed around the world and how Indian epics continue to influence world traditions. closing ceremony of the Delhi International Arts Festival celebrated the Silver Jubilee of India-ASEAN partnership. And that's why the performances depicted India's epic influence on the Southeast Asian region. Artists from the region presented their art beautifully alongside the Indian artists. And this special celebration of the India-ASEAN partnership will continue in January, when heads of all 10 ASEAN nations will get together as chief guests for our Republic Day parade. With that, it's time for me to wrap up today's episode. We'll see you same time next week with more such spellbinding performances. In case you missed any of the stories, you can watch it on our YouTube link. For now, it's a goodbye from the entire team.